Strel75N here, and we are here with our Biker Skull Telly. And as you can see, it's been coming out really well. We've got our first 3 layers of clear on it. However, there's some orange peel, and there is still a couple things that we need to go ahead and smooth out with this finish before we go ahead and spray our final 3 layers of clear. And so with that, I always like to start on the back. And you can see here where I've done just a little bit, and you can see where the color is, where the shine is a little bit lessened because we're smoothing it out. And here you can see some of that and the whitening of it as we go ahead and go through. But basically, I am just taking my time and wet sanding here, smoothing out all those inconsistencies so that when we do our final 3 layers of clear, then they should just take right on it. The only thing we should have to worry about is any possible orange peel. So this is, that time when you're refining your finish. The thing I've found about working with a base coat of polyurethane or the sanding sealer is if you keep just sanding away at it and get it completely level, a lot of times you'll burn through in some places that base coat, and you'll start to distress the fabric itself. And so while you're trying to work to get everything completely smooth, then it doesn't work out because you're ruining your fabric, and then you have to pull it all apart and redo it. And so what I've decided on, and what I've been doing ever since, is going ahead and making sure that after I shoot my first 3 coats of clear, that I come back in here and I smooth out anything that's a little bit rough or a little bit inconsistent. And I don't have to worry about ruining the shine here, because once I wet sand it and clear it all down, once I wet sand it and clean it back up, and then we're going to shoot it with the final 3 layers of clear, that's all going to take care of itself. And so what we basically want to do is make sure that we get everything as smooth as possible here, so that in our final finish, it is going to be absolutely wonderful. And we've gone ahead, we sprayed all our clear, all 9 coats of our clear. After the first 3, we wet sanded it. After the second 3, we wet sanded it. And now we've got our last 3 coats on, and we've got some wet sanding to do. We do have a little bit of orange peel, not too bad. But the problem is that we do have a couple places where we have a run or two, but there are some solutions for that. And so what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and wet sand with our micro mesh kit. And the really cool thing about our micro mesh kit is you can see that each of the discs is a different color. So I like to keep the chart right up here with me, so that if I mix up the discs as I get going, then I know which ones to go with. And now you can see that kit, yes, Ben Coombs, it starts at 1500, it goes all the way to 12 thou. And I use a similar kit to do frets on my guitars as well. But what we're going to go ahead and do is let me show you kind of what we got. One of the things that I like to do is I like to come over and I like to put a light on the guitar. And that helps you to see some of the orange peeling. You can see there's a little bit of orange peeling up here that needs to be taken care of. And you can kind of see some of the imperfections. There's some orange peel down here that's going to need to be taken care of. We do come over here. We do have, I also like to run my fingers over it. There is a little bit of a drip here that we shouldn't have too much trouble knocking down. But my big concern really is the drip that came down here. And of course you can't see that right now. And you can see now why I keep my color chart right there. But in looking at the back of our guitar right here, and I'm not sure if it's really showing it for you in a video, but right here there's a drip that looks like it started right about here and worked its way down. And this can really kind of whiten up on you as you start sanding it. So we're going to basically tackle that. That's one of the first things that we tackle. We'll be tackling the drip over here. And we also have, but we do have, but again, we have to go over everything. We're not just going to leave it the way it is. And so we can see as we come over that we're looking really good. Um, our seams have blended in rather nicely, and so once we do a little bit of wet sanding, we should be able to get ready and start buffing, which is good because I'm on a little bit of a time crunch with this one. All right, so that light is going to go. So I think the first thing I want to go ahead and start looking at here is I want to start looking at the drip over here, and you can't really see it, and it's one that you can just feel. So that's probably some good news for us. A lot of times when you do these, if you spray your clear too thick and you get a run or a drip, then that will whiten up on you, and it hasn't done that. So hopefully, as we start wet sanding it, it'll do that. Now, normally I like this cure longer, but given the amount of work that I have to do with it, it's probably a good idea that I start here. And so let's go ahead and start with our 1500. And basically what I'm just going to be doing is just knocking down where our drip is. And I'm going to feel it as I go. And there will be a line that appears as we start working on that. Okay, now it should become a little bit, well, let's see if we can't zoom in on that for you. So you can see that we've got an overall really nice look. All right, maybe we just turn this and make it easier. Okay, now you should be able to see this line appearing here as I start working the drip, right? So, and that makes it a little easier for me if I go ahead and I set that light right there as well. And I'm being gentle because I want to just really take off the high points and get it down smooth. I don't want to remove any more of this than I really have to. And for every mark I put in it, I have to take that out with the other grits. So on this one, so much of the finish came out really well that I don't want to go, really all end out on the wet sanding because so much of it is so good. All right, so we've gone ahead and we've done all our wet sanding. All right, so we've gone ahead, we've done all our wet sanding, and this is what we're left with for our top. Kind of hard to see at the angle, but you can see it's not as shite and burny as it was. Shite. So you can see it's not as bright and shiny as it was before. We've got to go ahead and knock down things and smooth it all out and make sure it was perfect. And so now what we're going to use is our McGuire's Pro Speed compound, and we're going to buff it back to that shine and get this thing all ready to go. Okay, and so here's what our front currently looks like. And it's still, we wet sanded it out to 12,000. So you can still see it's got still has some shine on it. But we're going to bring back all that shine. And here's the back. And of course, our sides. Okay, and our horns. All right, so but what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead, we're going to start buffing on the back here. And so I'm going to put a bunch of compound here. On our buffing foam. And we're going to start spreading that around the guitar. This is so that we have just some compound loosely around. And we're going to go ahead and work that all in. Okay. Now to make this go a little faster, and for you headphone users out there, we're going to go ahead and put the buffing pad onto our drill. And we're going to start buffing. Now this is going to take a real long time, so what's going to happen here is I'm just going to go through and do this first quick buff here for you, and of course, always best to charge your drill beforehand. All right, so excelente. That's all right. I'm not afraid of using hand power here, so we'll go ahead and we'll just buff this out by hand, and then we'll have to get that big old mean drill back on the charger so that we can get this buffed out a lot quicker, and it'll do, honestly, a much better job in getting this all back to shiny until we get down to the very end where I like to finish up by hand. Okay, now you can see I haven't been at it for very long here. But what I can already see, and I don't know if you can see it from your viewpoint, but I've already got a lot more shine than I had a moment ago. Okay, so let's go ahead and take a look at what that looks like. My trusty dusty cloth here and wipe down our excess. And you always want to wipe down your excess between, because you don't want grit in there and the stuff that you're pulling off in there as you go buffing the next round again. Just makes it a little bit nicer. All right, so we have gone ahead and we've got our guitar all buffed up on both top and bottom. So here's our top, and here's our bottom. So it's all buffed up and looking good. I just want to let you in on one more thing that that I do. Now this is like about 2 or 3 days of buffing, and more like 3 than 2. And so I go ahead and I use my McGuire's mirror glaze to go ahead and go through that, and I go through all my pads and everything. But one of the last steps that I've never really revealed before is I love to use this semi-chrome polish, and it's Hapich semi-chrome polish, and what it really does a great job of is it takes out a lot of those really fine scratches, and it brings everything, and even if you don't get out all the really fine scratches, it will bring everything to an absolute mirror glaze, mirror shine rather. And so just to kind of, and it's the same process as everything else. You'll see that I am using a really fine buffing pad. And the guitar is upside down because I really want to concentrate on the belly carve here. And if it was turned around the other way where the design makes sense to you, then I wouldn't have as good access to it. So I'm going to go ahead and take care of the belly carve first. And then I'll flip it around so you can look at it. It's a really pretty design. All right. All right, and that's enough of that loudness for you. But if you look, you can see the mirror shine on the top, which I've already done with the semi-chrome polish after all the polishing compounds and everything. All right, so we've got all our wet sanding and our buffing all done, and everything is, we're just left with cutting out the cavity so we can get ready to put the guitar back together. So I start off by cutting out a plus sign here to get access to the cavity, fold over the tabs, and that allows me to go ahead and get better access. And when I fold over those tabs, it kind of snaps to the line and makes it easier to go ahead and cut. So you see that I'm going to go ahead and do that, and I'm going to go ahead and start cleaning up it as nice as possible because I want this to look like a factory finish. Now, normally from here, what I would do is I would flip it over and I would cut out all the cavities on the front, but you've seen me do that 1,000 times, so no need to just sit there and bore you with that. And, but I would go ahead, the idea really here is to go ahead and be very careful with everything. All right, folks, this is a mock-up of our Strat as it would be done. They're probably going to go with this white pickguard here. And so here's what it looks like all said and done. And so I'll bring it in. And then, of course, our back. So hopefully they should be pretty happy with this. I really didn't like the look with the white pickguard. I felt like we lost too much of the picture. And so I had a clear pickguard, I adhered fabric to it and put sealing sealer on the bottom of that to keep it stable. And then here you can see what it looks like in the final guitar. I think it looks much better with the clear pickguard and all the fabric and all the design on it. As always, enjoy your guitar journey and thank you for being part of mine. Those are gorgeous bikers. Hey folks, Charles75N here, and here we are with our beautiful biker skull telly. It's not a telly, Charles. Hey folks, Charles75N here, and we're here with our beautiful biker. Hey folks, Charles75N here, and we are here with our absolutely beautiful biker skeleton Stratocaster. And